Hey y'all, welcome to the Danger Zone. It's Ashli. Everything in my video can be found on a public domain. The full disclaimer is down below. Lots of love and many blessings your way. I appreciate you so much, Jay. At this point, we're not really sure if Meghan is kicking up stuff for a legitimate reason or if she's just desperate to keep her name out there. Either way, she's making things really difficult for everybody, including Harry. I'm not a bit sorry for Harry. He made this big. He can wallow in it. Now, leaving the royal family, there was a long list of things they just couldn't take advantage of anymore. They had to sign this with attorney. I'm hearing there may be some legal backlash in the future against Harry and Meghan. They've been warned so many times. Okay, so the Hub Community Kitchen, you remember the place that she came together and made the cookbook, blah, blah, blah. Well, Street Games Charity over there have been delivering the Hub Community Kitchen meals for them. And Harry and Meghan felt, I'm going to say this was a Meghan move, by the way. I don't think Harry's involved in very much of what's going on. We'll talk about that in just a second. So they took it upon themselves to write a thank you note and send it over to Street Games Charity. A part of this thank you letter, they said, we've been touched to witness from afar the coming together of the organizations that we champion and so deeply care about. Actions speak louder than words. How deep do you really think they really care? They dumped everything and headed to the Hollywood Hills. Like Lady Colin Campbell says, they deeply care about column inches and keeping their name out there. And on this thank you letter, they included the royal monogram. And that privilege was ganked from them when they decided on their own that they no longer wanted to be senior royals. Directly after Street Games posted this letter on their Twitter feed, a legal representative of the royal families contacted Harry and Meghan. And even though they've been warned several times by the Queen herself and Prince Charles, what they received from the legal representative counts as an official warning. Now, my buddy Jay, who's a journalist almost 30 years and based out of London, he's covered the royal family most all of his career. When I asked him this morning, do you think they would go that far as to take legal action? Absolutely they will. They brought in their top dog attorneys against Harry and Meghan when she was putting up the argument over the use of the word royal for their brand. And speaking of arguments, listen to this. So Camilla and Kate decided that they were going to team up and contact Children's Hospice. And Children's Hospice is a really good program. It's just the equivalent of America's St. Jude's or Ronald McDonald House. And it just so happens to be Children's Hospice Week. And Camilla and Kate had planned on visiting, in person prior to this COVID. They literally did nothing wrong. All they did was give a Zoom call to Children's Hospice, talking to families and children. And it was a really sweet treat for these children and their families. Before Meghan left or decided that they were going to leave, Meghan was planning on being involved with Camilla and Kate during Children's Hospice Week. So when she found out that Kate and Camilla had this Zoom call with the Children's Hospice, allegedly, as Jay shared with me this morning, Meghan had her people contact the royal family, asking as to why she was left out of this Zoom call, since they had all three planned to visit months ago. Does she not realize they're no longer senior royals? I'm just curious. Surely she didn't think she was going to be a part of this. Jay thinks it was retaliatory for the legal people contacting her from the royal family. Listen, it's been no secret that they've been in couples counseling for well over a year now. Can't imagine what two of them together in a house on lockdown looks like. Either way, once Prince Philip found out about this, he hit the roof. He had his right-hand man contact Harry and put him on the phone. Now, what was told to me is this. He tried ordering Harry to get back home. Now, Jay says he talked to a royal insider, and the royal insider said this. Prince Philip was using his age and the lack of time he has left, trying to guilt Harry back home. They say he's desperate for Harry and Meghan to split up, and I believe that. So he's asked Harry to come back for a visit. If nothing else, he'd like to talk to him. Jay said the insider said he couldn't determine whether or not Harry was going to come. Now, the insider said that Philip protected that phone call. Typically, he uses speakerphone, but this time he held the phone to his ear. Now, according to the insider, Harry has to be taking this phone call pretty seriously. Contacting anybody is out of character for Philip, so they took it seriously, and they're hoping that Harry did too. If the royal family stays on this path, Philip's afraid that if this drama continues to hover around the royal family, it just won't last much longer. According to recent polls, the monarch has lost massive points in popularity. Folks are saying they don't even need a royal family. It's mind-blowing when you think about it. Think back over their history. They've been through so much that could have potentially taken them out. But instead, not any of that, but this master manipulator turns out to be their demise. It's mind-blowing. Y'all, speaking of demise, let me share with you this really fast before we end. Ben Maroney stepped out saying, hey look, I love my wife, and it disappoints me greatly that she's been absolutely abandoned by all of her closest friends. Meghan being the main one during this time of difficulty. And he's determined to clear up Jessica Maroney's reputation by telling their truth. Now, I can't wait for it, and I hope it's in the form of a documentary or a book. That, in my opinion, is a direct threat towards Meghan. I'll tell you this, I had no idea that Jessica was still on the payroll up until recently as Meghan's stylist. And because they're under this 12-month review, it makes me wonder who's flipped that bill. And I feel like it's that sort of reason as to why the popularity of the royal family is going downhill versus the drama, because they've always kept drama. And speaking of drama, here's what I found out just this morning. That same royal insider that spoke of Philip and Harry's conversation, when they were asked about the relationship between Archie and his cousins, the excuse that Meghan gave as to why she would not allow these children around the baby, because Kate allowed her children to wallow in the mud like little pigs, playing outside in the dirt. Meghan felt they were germ infested. That is so rude. That is so Meghan. Read that child's face. You can see right there that he couldn't go near Archie, and his feelings may have been hurt. Why don't Meghan just start introducing herself as "you're gonna hate me"? Because everybody that knows her ends up hating her. And if you can pick on children that are totally innocent, you are vicious. I guess we'll sit back and see if Harry decides to run home. If he was smart, he wouldn't come back if he did. And today's video has been brought to you by the word megalomaniac, which means a person who is obsessed with their own power. Thank you, Katja. I appreciate you pointing that out. That perfectly fits. I'll see you soon and we'll talk fast. Please stay safe and be blessed.